In this lesson, I'm going to introduce you to some of the tools you'll need in order to do your job as an IT technician. Here's an example of a starter toolkit. The first tool you use out of your toolkit is the ESD wrist strap. An ESD wrist strap is a safety device used to prevent electrostatic discharge, or ESD, by safely grounding the person working with electronic equipment. ESD damage occurs when stored static electricity is released and travels from a person's body into a conductor, such as the computer being repaired. The ESD wrist strap safely channels the static electricity to a proper ground, usually the computer's case. An ESD wrist strap is usually used with an ESD table mat on the workbench or a static dissipating plastic laminate on the workbench. The next tool you'll need is a screwdriver, either one screwdriver with interchangeable bits or several screwdrivers of several different sizes. You might want to purchase a jeweler's screwdriver kit. Many internal components require very small screwdrivers, especially in laptops. Pliers are used to grab those little screws that fall into the bottom of your computer case. This is probably the handiest tool of all. You'll also want an extension magnet to retrieve those little screws that inevitably fall into the system case as you're working on it. Just be careful working with any magnetized tool because they can damage computer parts. Also, a three-prong holder is a tweezer-like tool with three prongs used for grabbing and lifting small objects. You'll need a multimeter. Some multimeters include a voltmeter feature. A voltmeter is an instrument used for measuring electrical potential difference between 2 points in an electric circuit. Analog voltmeters move a pointer across a scale to show the voltage of the circuit. Digital voltmeters display a numerical value of the voltage by using an analog to digital converter. A multimeter is an electronic measuring instrument that combines several measurement functions in one unit. A typical multimeter includes features like the ability to measure voltage. It can also test resistance and current flow. Some multimeters also test for capacitance, which is the ability of a component to retain a charge when the power is turned off, and simple continuity, which is the connection made between one end of the cable and the other. Another way to test a power supply is with a power supply tester. A power supply tester is a version of a multimeter, so you can use either instrument to test your equipment. A power supply tester is used to make sure the correct voltage is coming out of your computer system's power supply. It is specifically designed to test DC voltage on most connections coming from a PC power supply. Let's test a power supply using the power supply tester. First, I'll insert the power cable, then I'll turn on the tester. This device is good. A tone generator and a probe lets you trace a wire from a wall drop, an RJ45 network jack, to a wiring closet. The tone generator emits a tone that goes along the wire and is picked up by the probe. That's how you know which wire you were looking for. To use a tone generator and a probe, insert the tone generator RJ45 connector into your data wall jack. Then go to your wiring closet. Move the probe over each wire in a bundle or over the patch panel until you hear the tone generated by the tone generator. A cable tester is mainly used to test cables you've made or fixed to make sure they are in good working order. The numbers on the tester correlate to the 1 through 8 pins of the cable. A cable tester can be a very simple and inexpensive device which tests for continuity within your network cable, or can be a very expensive device like a time domain reflectometer or TDR. TDR is an electronic instrument that uses time domain reflectometry to characterize and locate faults in metallic cables like twisted pair wire or coaxial cable. It can also be used to locate discontinuities in a connector, printed circuit board, or any other electrical path. If you're working with optical fiber, use an optical time domain reflectometer or OTDR. You'll also want a number of loopback plugs. Loopback plugs are used to test ports to identify if any network or NIC issues exist. To test a port, you insert a loopback plug into the port. If the light goes on, your port is good. Also, a loopback plug can be attached to a physical connection on the backplane of your computer and sends any data that comes out of that device right back in. If the data that is sent is identical to the data that is received, then you know the device is working properly. It is important to keep some extra good working computer equipment available. This equipment is referred to as known good spares. A valid troubleshooting method is to replace the suspected bad equipment with equipment that you know is good. Replacing parts can help you narrow down problems on your system. And that's it for this lesson. We discussed important tools that should be included in your starter toolkit. Make sure you label your personal tools with your initials and keep them in a place you can always find. And one final recommendation, don't skimp on tools. Buy good quality tools that can last you for your career as an IT technician.